Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of August 20th. Officially, the launch of the expansion this week, whether you have early release on the 22nd or standard release on the 26th. This is the World of Warcraft week in which the War Within will be launching for everybody, although some people days apart. Before we get started, and we are mostly going to be talking about that, let's go ahead and thank the Patreon supporters. We have Mario Casillas and Rep Pally Rocks. Thank you guys so much for the support there. Really appreciate it a lot. Okay, let's dive in, and again, mostly probably talking about the actual expansion launch this week. So we do have a little bit of stuff going on. Remix is officially over. We talked about that last week. PvP Brawl Comp Stomp this week. If you do want to get a little bit of honor, maybe you're literally coming back just now. You just got the expansion, or you're planning on getting it on the 26th or whatever, and you resub to WoW and you want to get honor on your character. Comp Stomp's a great way to do it with the PvP Brawl there. And so that's pretty much it going on this week, outside of course, the expansion launching, which is gigantic news. So if you have early access, again, that's if you bought the Epic Edition, nothing's really unlocked except for the leveling. So if you do, so the people who are harmed by this, honestly, are people who like to do speed leveling or want to try to go for a world first in something, but can't do it. Like as far as like leveling goes, there's like normally world first person who gets their mining up. At least there used to be stuff like that. So you can't really do that unless you have the early access. So that definitely is a negative there. But other than that, there's not much stuff unlocked during the early access as far as like getting gear and whatnot. So it's not too advantageous, but yeah, there are some downsides as well. So I'll be that is what I have. I do have the early access, so I'll be leveling up on Thursday. Things you can do, whether you have 2 days to get ready or you have almost the full week to get ready for the regular release. We've talked about it for a couple of weeks, but now's really time, right? You got to clean out those bags. You got to clean out the bank. Get your stuff in order. Get your gold in order. I know, at least for this time, one thing that I never really did before was like use my consumables and stuff for leveling. So, I hadn't bought anything in a while because I wasn't playing much in Season 4 Dragonflight. But, making sure I have a few like files, some weapon runes, food, augment rune. Obviously that's not stuff you need to level by any means. But if you already have it left over like I do, and, maybe I'll buy some more files or something. But if you already have it left over, you might as well have it and be ready to use it for your leveling as well. It just only makes it easier. Doesn't make it any harder. Now we still have some. I believe the pre-patch event is still going on, right? I haven't heard anything otherwise of it ending unceremoniously before, at least before the launch, right? On the 26th, I'd imagine. So you still have time to level up characters in the pre-patch event. You still have time to level characters via the pre-patch event. It's 480 base gear that you get from the pre-patch event, which is going to be a little bit lower than like a character that's been playing hardcore or whatever. But 480 is more than good enough to get you started leveling up as you go into the War Within and everything like that. So it's going to be really, really cool. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my personal, what my strategy is and what I'm going to be doing. So for me, like I said, this is one of the only times where I actually take time. You could argue my raid times, but where I take time to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to level up. I'm literally going to sit in here and level up for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, however long I'm going to be doing it for. And I just take that time to myself and I do it. And I just have fun doing it. I usually level my first character pretty much as fast as I can. I don't do any speed leveling strats or anything like that. But I normally take this to, I normally just do it as fast as I can. Now, if I've played the beta, which I usually am in the beta at some point, then I have already leveled up via the campaign quest once at least. And so I'm not really missing out on doing that because I already did it. However, the second character I level up, I do read all the quest text and take in the story and try to have a general idea of what's going on in the game as well on my second playthrough. Now I do read some of it on the beta as well, but sometimes things are changed. Sometimes there's more context. The cutscenes and cinematics aren't all in on the beta as well, so you get to see those. And so yeah, I'll be doing that on my second playthrough. But my first playthrough, I normally just try to get to max level as fast as I can, so that way I don't feel like I'm behind. Like I'm one of those people who are like, okay, I can't get too far behind. I don't want to be behind all my guild mates and stuff like that. So I do try to level up as fast as I can, mostly for that reason. Even though we have absolute plenty of time here in season 1 before anything meaningful happens, it's still just kind of what I like to do. You know, I'm going to have you know, food ready, hydration ready to go for this, and I will actually, or at least I'm planning on streaming it right here on YouTube. So if you are someone who follows the channel, which mostly for the This Week in WoW videos are people who follow the channel and subscribe to the channel or whatever, you know, on Thursday evening, if you are not leveling yourself, or if you are and you can do 2 things at once, you want to come by, hang out and chat, you know, I'm more than down to do that. My current plan for leveling might be a little bit boring, so you know, that might be boring for you to watch, but it also would be nice to have people to chat to, because I could be a little bit bored, honestly, with what my current strategy is. Now that could change. It could not be working out very well. I tested it a little bit on beta, but it could not work out as well as I hope it does. And you know, if it's going too slow, then I'll probably just go to more conventional method or something like that. But yeah, I will be doing that Thursday evening, the 22nd. I believe it's at 6 p.m. is when it launches, so that's when I'll plan to be on, probably a little bit before that, you know, 5:30, 5 maybe even, going through the last second things and whatnot. And yeah, I'll be that's what I'll be doing there. So I'm super excited about it. Again, whether you're going to be starting on the 22nd, 26th, haven't even committed to getting the War Within yet, you do have plenty of time before the actual expansion launches, or not the actual expansion launches, but before the actual season launches, season 1 of the War Within. It's multiple weeks. You have like a full week to level. It's like September 16th or something is when, like, I believe when the season starts. It's like really 17th, but it's like really far in away basically. So you have plenty of time. Even so, let's say you're somebody who hasn't even got the War Within yet, but you're thinking about it. You know, you could actually watch people level up in the early release, see if it looks cool, see if it gets you hype, and then get it, right? You don't have to pre-order, you don't have to do anything like that. And so you really won't be missing out on anything. Most people are just going to be sitting on their hands and complaining that the content's too slow. People who like to do alts and stuff are going to be, you know, more excited about it, because they're going to be able to level up all their alts before anything even starts, basically. And so it's going to be kind of a dichotomy there of players. I mostly play on my main character, but I will have plenty of time to go through on my second character, whoever I choose that to be this expansion. And like I said, watch all the cinematics, read all the quest text, and do all that kind of stuff. I also actually even on my first character, I even will go back through and do all the side quests that I didn't do either, to get more context too. That's another thing that I like to do. It also helps you with reputation and things like that. It's important to note too, reputation is warband wide now with the reputation system. It's similar to the Dragon Isles one here, where you get the renown tracks, and it's warband wide and all that kind of stuff too. So all the good things with warbands. You can have your warband bank ready as well if you need your warband bank to be ready. Yeah, I'm super excited personally. It's very. I had a good time leveling in it. I did it campaign story quest wise on the beta, and I had a fun time doing it. I imagine that's how most people are going to level, is just doing the campaign story quests. You will need to do some side quests, just at least as of the last time. At least when I leveled up, the main storyline alone was not enough to get you up to max level, so you will need to do some side quests. There's tons of them everywhere. Some of them are actually really interesting, some of them are not. It's very similar to Dragonflight. A lot of the Dragonflight side quests were actually extremely interesting and cool. I would say there's even more of that in the War Within as far as side quests go. Just some really interesting tidbits. If you care at all about the lore, you care at all about some of the older characters, you care at all about some of the newer characters. But if you care about stuff like that, then there's a lot of really interesting side quests. I would just say, if you see a character or a character that you like or know is telling you to go do something, it's not the main story quest, you know, you can go do that, and it'll probably be a pretty decent story in most cases. Not, you know, like I said, there's going to be misses as well, but a lot of them were very interesting that I did, because that's what I did basically. If it was I love this character, I'm going to go do the quest that they, you know, told me to do, and then that ended up paying dividends as far as my enjoyment, because it was just like cool fleshing out of their story and stuff. So I really enjoyed that as well. And I can sit here and ramble. I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I'm just super excited about it. And yeah, I think this expansion is going to be really, really fun. The raid looks fine. I know there's been some discussion with the dungeons and stuff like that. We'll see how the dungeons play out. I've done a lot of Mythic Plus on the beta, and I didn't really have any issues with the dungeons personally. But I also I think some people get ahead of themselves by pushing high keys on the beta. And like, yeah, if you're doing plus 12s or plus 14s on the beta, you're probably not going to be having as much fun, or if you're even trying to do that high. Whereas I mostly did keys like the 5, 6, 7 range, and I had tons of fun personally. So we'll see. I could be wrong too. Like my experience at the low key might not translate to a higher key, but we'll see how that goes. So we'll end this one here before I ramble on for another 17 hours. As always, I do ask you to subscribe to the channel because it helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody have a good one.